Lights they flicker and the candles glitter like you're in a thriller. Heart goes pound, pound, pound. Ghostly figures, they can get so bitter. Show you want to until you can turn back. You don't know where I've been, what's going on.
All right, we are here. It is time for a mock draft. I'm always open to a draft if your season sucks. Maybe this will give you some hope. We will get into the draft straight away. Looks as though we have most people. Maybe one not there. There's always one, isn't there? Quick intros, everything. Old Man Squad YouTube channel. Please go and subscribe. Download the audio versions of this, all the shows. Follow me on Twitter at AdamKing91. Brought to you, as always, by FanDuel, part of the Old Man Squad, obviously, and also part of the Believe Network. Let's get straight into the draft. It is a standard 12-team 9-cat, keeping everything very normal here. You can see there's a bit of chat going on. I'm just going to let them know. I'm going to start now just to make sure. So we've got Eric Ong with the first pick, followed by Raphael Johnson, Thunder Dan, Matty G, Steve St. Pierre from Menace Podman, Kayla Fonte, Chad Simpson, Josh from Point Made Basketball. Now, Nanjing, I think, is AOC NBA, but possibly the only one not here. Alex Barutha, now he is also not here, but I'm aware that he's not coming, so he's set a full queue. Ben from Fantasy Basketball 365 is at pick 11. Noah Rubin at pick 12. All right, let's get rid of my head. You don't need to see that. Let us hit start, and hopefully we work through this draft without too many issues. We've got a 30-second pick timer, so it should chug along nice and quickly. I know it's a Friday night in the US, Saturday lunchtime here in Australia, so I am hungry. I do want to get through this so I can go and eat. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes at pick 1, Nikola Jokic at pick 2. Now, we are drafting here, I guess, projecting the rest of the season. So someone like an Anthony Davis probably won't be drafted. We're not looking at value next season or sort of, I guess, rewinding and drafting as if it was the beginning of this season with what we know now. This is purely as if you were to start a league today. These are the values that people think these players have. Now, Matty G may also be on and off auto draft. He's got some family stuff that he's doing, but I know that he has set a queue as well. So we did have Shai first, followed by Jokic, Luka at 3, Wemby at 4, Tyrese Maxey at 5. No real sort of shifts there. I suppose maybe Wemby dropping 1 or 2 places because of the injuries that he's had this season. No issues with Jokic at 2. Obviously, Raf took him there and doesn't see any issues. He'll be back soon. Now, I can see we've got some questions in here. I'll get to them if I can. It sort of depends how quickly this draft moves. Let me just bring this down a little bit so we can see the more of the draft board there. So after Maxey, we had Giannis at 6, Cade Cunningham at 7, Anthony Edwards at pick 8. So if you do have any questions, put them into the chat, and like I said, I will get to them if I can. In the weeds, first rounder Jamal Murray. I don't think so, but we'll see. Second round, absolutely. He's certainly going to go higher now than he did at the start of the season. Devin Booker goes at pick 10. That's interesting because he has been a little bit underwhelming. Still been okay, but probably not as good as we had hoped. He went to Alex Barutha. So as I said, Alex is auto-drafting this, but has set a queue. So it should be somewhat reflective of who he would be taking anyway. Ben from Fantasy Basketball 365 takes Jalen Johnson at pick 11. I like that value. I think he is a top 10 player rest of season. Anthony Davis went at pick 9. Now, that was an auto pick. Let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. So he is not here, which not ideal. I sent him multiple messages. So I guess we just won't have him in the next mock draft that we do. I keep a tab of these things. So if you don't turn up when you've got all this notice and you actually volunteered to be in the draft, you may not be top of my list to get an invite back. Alperen Şengün goes pick 12 to round out the first round. Trey Murphy with the first pick of the second round to Noah, followed by James Harden and Scotty Barnes. So still no Jamal Murray. I think he will go soon. Who else is sitting here that could go? Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell. Cat, I suppose, been a little bit disappointing as well. Interesting to see where LaMelo goes. Coming into the season, he was a third rounder, but he has been healthy. That's an auto pick. Trae Young, obviously, no one is drafting Trae Young. He should shift to auto pick now, so we won't have to wait the 30 seconds. So we will somewhat ignore his picks. Donovan Mitchell goes at pick 17. So as always, a little bit of it's not a no man's land, this range, but it's a tricky spot to draft because you are looking for upside. You're looking for people that could be first rounders. But there's also a risk that they drop to be third or fourth rounders. And there's a big difference between a first rounder and a fourth rounder. Steph Curry, did I say Evan Mobley? He went to Chad, followed by Steph Curry to Kayla. Still no Jamal Murray. Who else have we got? Denny Avdia. Curious to see where he goes as well. I have no idea how many people we're going to actually get watching this. It's a bit of a hit or miss kind of show. Like not everyone cares, I suppose, about doing a draft at this time of the year. But I love drafting. I'm obviously not drafting in this one, but that's so I can break down the picks. But yeah, I'm always thinking ahead to next season. I've already got some nice punt strategies for next year and potential category shifts, I guess, for lack of a better term. Let's recap some picks here. Derek White went with pick 20, followed by Kawhi Leonard, Domantas Sabonis, and Onyeka Okongwu. So some interesting and pretty obvious value shifts there. Kawhi Leonard going in the second round. That was not happening coming into the season. Okongwu, people were a little bit down on him because of the Porzingis, the presence of Porzingis, but that there hasn't been much of a presence, has there? He's been injured. So Okongwu going to RAF is very interesting. And Jamal Murray, there he goes at pick 24. We got a question from Chad, who's in the draft. Do I think Wemby could have some load management risk in the fantasy playoffs? Possibly. As it stands, no, because they want to get him to the 65 game level. So I guess if load management to you looks like limited minutes, maybe. Missed games, no. But if he suffers another injury in the next month and misses half a dozen games, then yes, I do think they will. So I think it will depend on what happens in the immediate future as to whether they actually decide to rest him down the stretch and through the fantasy playoffs. Now, this was a third round reversal. I think that most people should be doing third round reversal in 12 team leagues and deeper, so 12, 14, 16, 20. You should be doing third round reversal. So after Jamal Murray, we had Karl Anthony Towns, followed by Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, Paolo Banchero, Cooper Flagg. There goes LaMelo Ball to Chad with the 6th pick of the third round. So that's pretty good value, I think, if he can stay healthy. And Chet Holmgren goes with the 7th pick of the third round, followed by Amen Thompson. So no huge surprises here. I would say the biggest movers in terms of value are Trey Murphy, who went with pick 13. Kawhi Leonard, who went with pick 21. Okongwu went with 23. Banchero was an auto pick, so I'm not going to break that one down. Cooper Flagg is an interesting one because I do think that there's a chance that he is limited down the stretch. Per game, he's been phenomenal. Anthony Davis is not going to be there. I don't think Kyrie is coming back anytime soon. So Cooper Flagg is going to basically have the show to himself. So I think the numbers will line up with this, but yeah, a little bit of a risk, I think, of missed games. LaMelo, that's probably fractionally higher than he was going to begin the season, but not significant. Amen Thompson has gone the other way, so he's obviously been still very good this season, but has fallen short of where we thought he would be, I think, and part of that was the injury to Fred VanVleet. On the surface, that looked like a good thing for Amen Thompson, but I do think that that's impacted his defensive numbers a little bit. Tyler Hero goes with the 9th pick of the third round, Jaylen Brown, Austin Reeves, and Denny Avdia at pick 36. Into the 4th round, Josh Giddey goes with the 1st pick. Then we have Mikal Bridges. That's much higher than he was going coming into the season. Bam Adebayo, Alex Sarr. That's higher, I want to say, as well. I didn't get Sarr anywhere, but I feel like he was going in the 70 range, 60 to 70 range, and he's gone with pick 40 there. So he's moved up, and rightfully so. He's been really, really good this season. Jalen Duren, that's also slightly higher. Franz Wagner, that's about the same. So it just shows you, I guess, even with injuries and rotation changes and all sorts of things happening, not a lot of players' value. It doesn't shift significantly. We haven't seen many players that have gone up or down more than half a round, other than probably Kawhi Leonard, Onyeka Okongwu, Trey Murphy. Amen Thompson's probably gone in the other direction. Cooper Flagg. That's probably about where he was. Maybe he's gone up a little bit. Alex Sarr has definitely climbed probably 2 rounds. And look, I know, trade deadline is around the corner, off-season, all sorts of things will happen. But this may give you a little bit of an insight into what managers are thinking for next season as well. So I guess Cooper Flagg going with the 5th pick of the 3rd round, that makes him around pick 30. Is that where he's going to go next season? Or does he go maybe as a 2nd rounder? Thompson, does he fall a little bit? Or with VanVleet back, are we sort of back on the train? How high does Trey Murphy go next season? So there's certainly some questions. Dyson Daniels goes with the 7th pick of the 4th round. That's probably about where he was going. Jaren Jackson, LeBron James, Jalen Williams. There's a name that's fallen a little bit, Jalen Williams, because of the injury to start the season and the fact that his production has been not bad, but not quite where we wanted it to be. OG Anunoby, Lauri Markkanen ends or wraps up the 4th round there. 5th round, a big jump here. Keontae George. He was going after pick 100, possibly. He was certainly a lot later than this. So he's jumped up 3, 4, even maybe 5 rounds. Joel Embiid going at pick 50. That's about where he was going coming into the season. So even though he's been healthy, we are still a little bit hesitant on him. Ivica Zubac, De'Aaron Fox, Jimmy Butler, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Alexander-Walker obviously was has skyrocketed in terms of value there. He was going last round. He was a bit of a flyer. Let's see what he can do alongside Trae Young. And obviously we don't have Trae Young there anymore. So, I think that makes sense. Chad just commenting there on the fact that that's the first time he's ever drafted LaMelo. Look, it depends. Like, some people are weirdly high on him, some people aren't. But I think pick 30, given the way he's looked, the Hornets have looked better, then I think you're okay taking a risk there in the third round. Second round would be too much of a reach, but third round is fine. After Alexander Walker, we had Zach LaVine with the 7th pick of the 5th round, Norm Powell, Michael Porter Jr., and Desmond Bain. Julius Randle. Bain has fallen. I feel like people were reaching a little bit for him coming into the season, top 40-ish, top 50, and he's gone at 58 there. So he's maybe dropped about a round. Julius Randle, that's about right, round pick 60. Norm Powell has been really good. The return of Tyler Hero, look, it has impacted him, but I think Powell has just earned a really big role in Miami. So, I think that's okay. Brandon Miller goes at pick 60, followed by Pascal Siakam. Now, the Siakam per game, Siakam is better than this, but we're obviously, all of us are aware of the fact that the Pacers are likely to go into some sort of tank. I don't know what that will look like for them, but it could mean that Siakam, I don't know. It's hard to know. I don't think he'll just miss 3 weeks. I think it'll be more of a situation where he rests or is fake injured from time to time. So I don't think this is a sort of a Jeremy Grant kind of a Lauri Markkanen Utah situation where he's just not going to play. He just might not play as much. Miles Bridges goes with pick 62, followed by Kevin Porter, VJ Edgecombe, Nikola Vucevic, Brandon Ingram. Edgecombe's an interesting one. I think he's actually going to go quite high next year. I think he might go inside the top 50. He's been really good this season. Derek Queen goes at pick 67. Was he even being drafted? Can't really remember if he was. Anyway, he certainly climbed in terms of value. Rudy Gobert goes next. Mattis Buzelis, Ryan Rollins. Rollins was not really on... He was on the radar, I guess, but he wasn't really at the top of anyone's list. Other than as a last round flyer. So he goes at pick 70 here. So that's sort of testament to the season that he's had. And I've even seen some trade rumors about him heading to Memphis as part of the Ja Morant deal. But, I mean, there's all sorts of rumors at the moment, isn't there? Josh Hart, followed by Con Knipple. So 3 rookies so far. Am I right in saying that? 4 rookies possibly. So Flag was the first rookie to go. And then I think we've had 3 rookies go in that round. Edgecombe, Queen, and Knipple. And that's quite a good hit rate for rookies. It's pretty rare that you would get, I mean, that's top, what are we looking at? Basically top 70, 4 rookies inside the top 70. That doesn't happen all too often. I think Trey Johnson will probably be drafted as well. So there's another rookie to go. We'll see. Definitely been an impressive rookie class. Anthony Black, first pick of the 7th round. Now, he is someone that probably wasn't being drafted. Injuries have helped him, but he's surprised me with his consistency and what he's been able to do this season. Jarrett Allen, Jalen Green, Mark Williams. Jalen Green nearing a return. So this is you're sort of drafting him based purely on what we've seen in the past, not this year. Mark Williams, people are still pretty cautious when it comes to him. His minutes have been monitored, it feels like, for the entire season. He'll have the occasional game where he plays 30 minutes, but it's just not happening every night. Zion, caution as well with the injuries, but much like LaMelo Ball, he has been pretty good, pretty healthy. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that he can stay that way for the Pelicans. But at pick 77, that's pure upside there for him. Naz Reid goes next, followed by Ja Morant and Peyton Pritchard. So we're up to pick 80. Peyton Pritchard goes with pick 80. Any interesting builds here? We're not playing this league out, so I wouldn't expect people to really be worried too much about specific builds, punting, or anything like that. We're really just looking at best player available, who's got the most upside. So, yeah, you're not going to see a team that's loaded up with 4 or 5 centers at this point or anything like that. And from the looks of things, just scanning the colors there, I don't think we are in that situation. Nemesh Kader goes at pick 81. He's been really, really solid this season. Doesn't have a lot of upside, but he'll flirt with a double-double. He'll get you 2 defensive stats. And his role's not going anywhere. Boston have been impressive, so I don't mind Kader there. Drew Holiday goes next, followed by Dante DiVincenzo and Darius Garland to round out the 7th round. Garland's dealt with multiple toe injuries this season. He's currently sidelined. So I'm not surprised that he fell a little bit. I was watching the Cavs game just before this, and they had a graphic on the screen talking about games missed for him. On average, he sort of misses 15 to 18 games a season, and that's across his career, and they're all for different injuries. So he's already missed, I think we're at about 15, 16, 17 games now already for Darius Garland. So maybe he gets through this toe injury and plays out the rest of the season, but I think there's a lot of value to be had there, but I understand the risk. To start the 8th round, we had Keyshawn George. He was a popular player. I was comfortable taking him in this sort of range coming into the season, but that was in specific builds. So good to see that people are on board with him. Donovan Clingan, Nick Claxton, Emmanuel Quickley, Miles Turner, DeAndre Ayton, AJ Mitchell. Interesting that Miles Turner went at 89. He was top 50 coming into the season. He's been one of the more disappointing players, but I guess we know what he can do. So even with all of the bad games that he's had, he has still been a top 100-ish player. So at pick 90, I think that's okay. AJ Mitchell, as I said, has been quietly really good, even with Oklahoma City healthy, or their backcourt largely healthy. AJ Mitchell's been able to hold on to a pretty significant role and chips in. Like, I streamed him in a couple of leagues when someone got injured. It's when they were getting healthy and he was dropped in a couple of spots, and then someone got injured. So I snapped him up, and I haven't even considered dropping him. He's been really good. Kel'el Ware, I think if we'd done this draft 2 weeks ago, Kel'el Ware probably would have gone top 50, and now he goes at pick 92, and that's obviously because of what we've seen in the last week with Bam Adebayo starting at centre, Kel'el Ware moving back to the bench and playing, well, I think he played 8 minutes in the last game. So there's a lot of risk with Kel'el Ware. There's a lot of upside, but there's a lot of risk when it comes to his role. DeMar DeRozan, Kobe White, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Peyton Watson rounds out the, not the 12th round, the 8th round. Peyton Watson, big breakout this season, has been a top 80 kind of player, and he goes, where did he go? 96. So I don't mind that value there. Kobe White is interesting at pick 94. I think we're in a bit of a buy low period for him at the moment. He could certainly push back up to be a top 60 player, so there's some value there for him. Colin Murray-Boyles goes with the first pick of the 9th round. Impressive, another rookie, so I completely forgot about him. So that's 5 rookies now that we've had go off the board. Pretty sure I'm right with only 5. Grayson Allen, Shaden Sharp, Paul George. Paul George, another one that, well, he's been pretty healthy again. And he's putting up decent numbers. So, and at this point, I mean, this was an auto pick, so whatever. But even if we're actually, maybe it wasn't an auto pick. No, okay, no, it's not an auto pick. So we do have everyone here now except for Alex Bruther. So after Paul George, Jaden McDaniels, Colin Coward, Cedric Coward, Andrew Nemhard, and Tari Eason. So we are getting into the hundreds now, which is, in a standard league, you're probably, I think I did 9 active roster spots. So we're almost into the bench now, which is where you can start to look for upside. And if you are looking at these values for your rest of season kind of situation, do remember that once you get towards the back end of the season, you don't have to do this, but I like to really narrow down my focus. So focus on, well, it's got to be at least 5 categories, but 5 or 6, even if you're not punting, shifting into a punt is a good idea, because as you get closer to the playoffs, it's not about volume. You don't want to win or need to win 7-2, 8-1 to sort of bolster your overall score. You just need to win. So a lot easier to win 5 categories than it is 7. So having a look at some of these values. So someone like a Tari Eason, for example, who went at pick 104, I think if he can stay healthy in certain builds, he's a top 60 player. So don't just look at these and go, ooh, and if you're looking to trade, don't use this draft purely. Have a look at build and what you're sort of focusing on. Where did we get up to? Tari Eason with the 8th pick of the 9th round. Yegor Dioman, Santi Aldama, DeAnthony Melton, and Jay Huff. To finish off, Jay Huff, I'd be avoiding the Indiana center situation, but that's really me. I just don't think there's a clear front runner there, or will be. CJ McCollum, first pick of the 10th round. Andrew Wiggins, Najee Marshall. So Najee Marshall, someone that wasn't really being drafted, but obviously he's benefited from the Anthony Davis injury. Yegor Dioman is interesting. I think he could be a top 100 player rest of season. There'll be a couple of missed games. There'll be some ups and downs and things like that. But his role has solidified. The numbers are starting to come around. So, yeah, I think he'll be good. Keegan Murray goes with the 4th pick of the 10th round. Bub Carrington. So still no Trey Johnson. Let's have a look at who is actually sitting here. So Reed Shepherd, unsurprisingly, is still available. Jalen Suggs, people are avoiding because of all of his injuries. Who else? Filipowski. I feel like he'll be drafted, but this sort of highlights how bad he's been. I think he is a stash, but he hasn't been. He had one good game a couple of games ago, but he's going to need a lot of people out to have that value. Who else is still sitting here? No one really jumps off the page. It'll be interesting to see if and where Bryce Sensabaugh goes. He's obviously coming off 2 of the best performances of his career. Trey Johnson, Ryan Kalkbrenner. I'm not sure Kalkbrenner gets drafted here. He may go with the last pick. So we really are into flyer territory now, I think. Wendell Carter is still available. He'd be a really nice pick here around pick 120. Let's recap some picks. After Bub Carrington, with the 6th pick of the 10th round, Tamani Kamara, Jalen Tyson, Colin Gillespie, Kaysen Wallace, RJ Barrett, Aaron Gordon, and Trey Johnson. So there goes Trey Johnson. He's our 6th rookie. Jeremiah Fears goes with the next pick, our 7th rookie. So Noah really on brand, leaning into youth. So he's gone with Keontae George, Con Knipple, Anthony Black, Peyton Watson, who's a little bit older, Colin Murray-Boyles, Trey Johnson, and Jeremiah Fears. So he's going for a dynasty build here. We might be, Chad. Yeah, we might be at 9 or 10 for the rookies. I wish I could search by rookies. You probably can't. But yes, we are getting up there. Dioman was another rookie. That's right. I forgot about him. So we probably are up at about 9, 8, 9 now, potentially more. Which, as I said, is quite rare in fantasy to have that many rookies that are not only being drafted but have a good chance to be top 100 players. I think you could argue that every rookie drafted so far, they would need certain things to go their way, but I think there's a chance that they could end up as top 100 players. After Jeremiah Fears, we had John Collins. Wendell Carter goes to Alex Baruth, a nice pick there. Devin Vassell, Russell Westbrook, Cam Spencer, Jabari Smith, I like that pick as well. Daniel Gafford. Who's still there? Reed Shepherd is still there. No one has faith in Imi Udoka that he is going to play him minutes. Jaime Jaquez has been really good this season. We'll see if he gets drafted. There goes Jalen Suggs to Matty G with pick, what are we at? 129. No risk there. That's perfectly fine. We are in the point now where if these players didn't work out for whatever reason, you can just drop them. You generally want to open up a couple of streaming spots heading into your playoffs anyway. Sorry, I'll move that comment off the screen. After Suggs, we had Stephon Castle. So just to recap, if you sort of got in here late, this is not going to let me just move this down so I can see the whole draft board. At the top end of the draft, there were a few players that made some significant moves, either up or down based on their current value compared to where they were going to start the season. I'll run through the first round just very quickly. We had Shea at pick 1, Jokic, Luka Doncic, Victor Wembanyama, Tyrese Maxey, Giannis, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Davis. Now that was an auto pick. Devin Booker, Jalen Johnson, and Alperen Şengün. So the big movers here. So Trey Murphy went with pick 13. That was a pretty big jump for him. Scotty Barnes, a small jump there. He went with pick 15. But the bigger ones were Kawhi Leonard, who went with the 9th pick of the second round. Now, obviously, per game, that's fine, but the injuries are always in the back of our mind with him. Onyeka Okongwu went with the 11th pick of the second round, and Jamal Murray with the 12th pick. So 3 guys there that jumped up 1 round, 2 rounds. Denny Avdia went with pick... Oh, no, that was the end of the pick. Sorry, it was 3rd round reversal. Cooper Flagg went with pick 30, so that was about 10 to 12, so probably about a round higher than where he went coming into the season. LaMelo Ball went with the next pick, which I think you've eliminated most of the risk with him there. Obviously, if you could get him later, it would be better, but I'm okay with it there. Amen Thompson went with the 8th pick of the 3rd round, so he was sort of going top 15, top 20 in a lot of drafts, so he's fallen. He's gone the other direction. Let's just jump back down and see where we are up to. Where did we get up to? So we had Stephon Castle, 10th pick of the 11th round, followed by Isaiah Stewart and Zach Edey. Interesting drafting Zach Edey, given the revised timeline on him. Tobias Harris goes with the 12th pick of the first round. First pick of the 12th round. That sounds better. Brandon Pajemski, Musa Diabate, PJ Washington, Asar Thompson, Kyle Filipowski, Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Christian Brown, Reed Shepherd. So there goes Reed Shepherd to Alex Barutho. What's that? He's gone at 142 there for Reed Shepherd. Trey Jones and Sadiq Bey goes next. Noah Clowney, first pick of the 13th round. We did go 14 rounds. I considered going 12, but I figure that 14 is probably more accurate. And we want to look at a standard league, and a standard league is generally about 170 players. So we are going to push towards that number. I think 160 odd. So a little bit more, and it gives you a sort of some context for these late round guys and where they're going and are they worth a flyer. After Noah Clowney, you had Aaron Neesmith, Quentin Grimes, Cam Thomas, and Julian Champagny. I think Julian is the San Antonio one. Big fall for Cam Thomas, not surprising. At this point, I think we need a trade for him to push back up to being a top 100, top 80 player. There goes Kalkbrenner. So he is drafted there with the 150th pick. Io DeSunmu, Isaiah Collier. Let's just move this up a bit so I can see some players that are still sitting here. So if I was drafting here, who would I be considering? Well, Bryce Sensabaugh, absolutely, I would be considering him. Justin Champagny, I would be considering him. Oh, there goes Bryce Sensabaugh to Raf. Jalen Smith, maybe. He's going to be an interesting one. I know we talk about him as a stash. So maybe he gets drafted here. Beyond those guys, there's not a lot, if I'm being honest, unless you're really looking at upside, like a Nick Clifford. If the Kings really just tear things down and don't care about winning at all, then I think he is someone that could have some value late. But yeah, we're into a lot of nothing, aren't we? At this point of the draft. So let's have a look let's sort by ADP and see who's still sitting here. Okay, so there are some guys here. Jordan Poole has not been drafted. And we can actually get a look at what their ADPs were. So these are some guys that were going in just about every draft and have not been touched. So Jordan Poole was going around 70, hasn't been drafted. Jakob Poeltl, likewise. Anthony Simons was going in the 80s. He hasn't been drafted. Cam Johnson, around pick 90. He hasn't been drafted. Benedict Mathurin, inside the top 100. Walker Kessler, obviously, he's out for the season, so that's fine. Draymond Green, surprised that he hasn't been drafted. He hasn't been good, but he certainly helps. Colin Sexton, Malik Monk, Ace Bailey, Kyle Kuzma. Then we're sort of down into the 140s, which is, that's sort of fire territory anyway. All right, where did we get up to? I think I got up to Isaiah Collier. So Collier went with the 8th pick of the 13th round. Sorry, I was just reading comments. So 9th pick of the 13th round. Sam Merrill, Dayron Sharp, Bryce Sensabaugh, and Yusuf Nurkic to finish off round 13. Round 14, Jonathan Kuminga, Miles McBride. I'll stop shifting. Let me just drag this down so I can see it. Jonathan Kuminga. So that's a stash. Let's see what happens. Deuce McBride, Davion Mitchell, Herb Jones, Jalen Smith, Justin Champagny, Will Riley, another rookie, Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Malik Monk, Jake LaRavia, and Ace Bailey. So some players that weren't picked or weren't drafted, and maybe this gives you an indication of where analysts view these guys. Jakob Poeltl, Anthony Simons, Cam Johnson, Benedict Mathurin, Bobby Portis, Colin Sexton, Jaden Ivey, Zachary Riesachet, DeAndre Hunter, Scoot Henderson, Jalen Wells, Bilal Koulibaly, Jeremy Grant. I'm surprised Jeremy Grant wasn't drafted, actually. I thought someone would have picked him up with the last pick. Chris Middleton, TJ McConnell, Mitch Robinson. So these are all players that I think were draftable coming into the season and weren't touched in this draft here. So that sort of gives you an idea of where we are on those sorts of guys. And then those players that went late, obviously, we don't see them as super high priority players either. Okay, so that will do. We got through that pretty quickly, around 40 minutes, so I'm happy with that. I might get a couple of these guys on my show just to talk about their teams. I will post the results up on, and I'm sure the analysts might as well. I'll encourage them to post their teams up. But I'll figure out a way. I'll get it up on Twitter somehow. I could just cut and paste, but I don't like doing that. It makes it hard to read. So I might actually just manually type it in. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll get it up there. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. I know it is late on a Friday and lunchtime here in Australia and wherever else you are in the world. Let's go back to me. A reminder, please go and subscribe to the Old Man Squad YouTube channel. The trade deadline show is up. Go and give that a thumbs up as we push towards 1,000. We're only 3 weeks away, I think, from the trade deadline. So getting closer, possibly some trades on the horizon. We'll see. We always love a good trade. Follow me at AdamKing91. Follow all of the guys here. I will tag them again, but make sure you're following all of them on Twitter as well. And that'll do. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to adjust everything on the back end. I'm Adam King. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. We are done.
What's going on inside where the monsters like to come alive, come alive.